First of all, I'd like to say a good, healthy hello to everyone out there, to my many friends, and also to my many enemies. Once again, it's a blessing to sit before you one more time in another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. And this is Roosevelt Sounds Off Part 33. I'm working with a new camera on this evening, and I hope that you all will bear with me because I think this is like one of the second things I'm going to be doing in HD. So this should look better, so hopefully it does. I'm shooting with my Nikon D7000 tonight. That's the first time I ever shot a video using my DSLR camera, so we're just going to give it a whirl and just see how this goes. So if it works successfully tonight, I guess it's something I'll keep on doing for now on. You know, just trying to bring Roosevelt Sounds Off to brand new heights and deeper depths. But on tonight, or early this morning, you know, because I'm shooting this video very, very early in the morning on Friday morning, February 26, 2016. And I think it's almost like 1 in the morning, almost. And I want to continue on in my series entitled Stupid Traditions. And this next stupid tradition I want to deal with is the stupid traditions of our American justice system. I want to explore how our police departments and how our justice system has done wrongs and done injustices towards us as black people, Latin people, even a whole lot of white people it's done things to. So I want to be able to talk about that and explore that on tonight, because in this country you have more people locked up in this country of the United States than any other country in the entire world. I mean, we even have more people locked up than places like Russia or Cuba or China or North Korea. In these countries that I just named, you know, according to what American government always tells us, especially about North Korea and China, that these are countries where, you know, the human rights, you know, issue or human rights are just very bad. We even have more people locked up than Iran or Iraq or Saudi Arabia. And we know that a whole lot of these, you know, Islamic nations like that who practice and live by Sharia law. In case you all don't know, Sharia law is the very strict interpretation of the Holy Quran. And a whole lot of these Islamic countries are governed by Sharia law, but yet they don't even have as many people locked up as the United States does. So I began to think, and after a while I began to get a revelation that for us in this country to have so many people locked up, it's got to be something wrong or a disconnect or a defect or something, someplace in this country. So that's what I am here to explore, and that's what I am here to talk a little bit about, especially when it comes down to us as just being citizens. Now, I have done some research about this whole thing, basically called the prison industrial complex. And later on this year, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I really want to do a film or a short film based upon the school to prison pipeline, meaning that when, you know, children get in trouble and everything in school, then it leads to them getting in trouble in every other kind of facet until they grow up and they wind up in the prison system. And some of the research that I have done is that a whole lot of people out there, you know, whether they're singers or ball players, one in particular, Michael Jordan, who are profiting off of our young men and women going to prison, because you have a whole lot of judges and sports figures and, you know, actors and all of these other kind of people who actually have money in stake, in stock, in prisons, especially private own prisons that are coming up much more and more now. So anytime that you have people out there, you know, like famous people, well-known people, who are actually profiting off of people going to prison, I would have to say that it's much more of a disconnect, and something is wrong drastically with the American society whenever you have it like that. Because I think that's the reason how come they make the laws in this country, which are just nothing but man-made laws. That's how come it's a tradition. And a whole lot of these laws, it didn't come from God. I mean, it came from man themselves. I mean, especially when you had in a whole lot of places, you still have it, the 3 strikes law, you know, that was started by our former president, Bill Clinton. And you could go to jail now, seems like, over the very smallest thing. If I think in this country, we really major in the minors. We really, really do. I mean, they say to spit on the sidewalk is a crime. I mean, that's not a big deal. I'm surprised that they don't try to throw God in prison, because God lets it rain down on everything. I mean, if God were a person and let it rain down on everything, they would accuse him of spitting on the sidewalk or pissing on the sidewalk, or either or. It's basically, I was told by a girl who I was seeing at one time, the whole prison system and the whole jail system or whatever, she said basically it's all based upon money. That's all it is. Because have you ever noticed that whenever you get pulled over for, like, even if it's like a minor traffic infraction, that is always a ticket that you get? And the ticket is not to help you drive better or to warn you about doing this or doing that. It's usually some type of a price tag that comes with that ticket. If you paying $50 and higher in traffic court, that's because, you know, the judges and the court deputies and the police, all of these people make money. And all of these people, I guess, got to get paid. So if their salaries are coming from a cut of all of that, which is put into the system. And even when you're sentenced to prison, like I said, it's people who have stock in these prisons, especially private-owned prisons. And these people are profiting off of every single body per head that is in prison, because it's often said that it costs much more to keep a man locked up than it costs to educate him. Meaning that it will cost you around, taxpayers or whoever, around $30,000, $40,000 to keep a man in prison, but maybe only costs $15,000 to $20,000 a year to educate him, or to get him on the road to receiving, you know, a college degree. Yeah, I mean, this is how this whole thing goes. The whole system is made up of money. And as long as, you know, we're living in an evil capitalistic society that's made up of money, come on now, you can already say that the prison system is already messed up already as it is. Anytime it's a system that's already designed for money, because that's all it's for. And another facet of this criminal justice system I want to deal with is the issue of child support. Now, I've said in one of my other videos that for all you ladies, especially black women, who want to always put a man on child support, you are a contributor to the downfall of black men, and also you are helping white supremacy. I say that because anytime a man gets behind in his child support, the first thing that they want to do is, you know, garnish his wages, and if that don't work, they want to take his driver's license and then throw him in jail, which is an oxymoron, because if I'm in jail, even if I was working and wanted to pay the money, how can I pay the money when I'm locked up and then I lose my job? You done already took my driver's license, and what if I had a job that was far out in the suburbs and I needed to get there? That means I can't get there now, all because you took my driver's license. I mean, it's all an oxymoron. The whole system is just completely broken. And the fact is, you can just go to jail over the smallest thing. I mean, you can't do anything. Every single thing is a crime. To speak your mind is a crime. To cuss in public is a crime. To drink in public is a crime. And the reason how come the United States justice system has a whole lot of these different crimes, especially smaller crimes, like this, because they're hoping that they can trip much more people up. In that way, they can try to throw more people in jail. In that way, people who are profiting off of prisons can still keep on getting paid. You know, the prison pipeline, the prison industrial pipeline. And I basically said, the reason why I said a little bit earlier in the video that it starts in the schools is because, have you ever noticed that any time, because I mean, I've been through it and everything myself being a kid, and I know being a kid and stuff, you know, I don't know about you all out there, but I know being a kid and everything, I was a little bit sometimes mouthy or whatever. You know, just sometimes doing what, you know, kids do. And it just seems like sometimes in school, they look for any kind of excuse to want to suspend you or discipline you or anything, even if it's like something small that you do. The teacher or the principal, whoever it is, cannot just go and walk it off. They just got to go and suspend you and look for any kind of reason whatsoever to get you or put you in trouble. To suspend you and send you home for 5 days or 1 or 2 weeks. What is that accomplishing? I mean, only thing that is nothing but a waste of time. And then, even once you get off of this suspension, you still got this thing on your record. And you got to go through the rest of the school year, the rest of your school career and everything. And other teachers by this time know it. And so teachers, you know, treat you a certain way. And this whole thing in your record, depending on how bad it is, it follows you. So it leads you maybe into doing other things, and it leads to prison later on. Because the prison system is the exact same kind of a way. I mean, I'm reminded of a passage of scripture where it says that if you come to God with a right spirit and a contrite heart, and that He is faithful and just to forgive you, and He will remove your sins from you as far as the east is from the west. And that is very, very far. That is not so with the laws and, should I say, stupid traditions of mankind. Oh, no, 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 no. Even if you make a mistake or you commit a crime or you do something wrong, you could serve your 2, 3, 4, 5, even some of you might serve 10 years in prison. And a whole lot of times in prison there, yeah, you have people in prison, or, you know, men or women in prison, black, white, Latino, Asian, or whoever, who have done like very horrible things and who have committed horrific crimes. But a whole lot of people in prison are in prison for especially black men, for non-violent drug offenses. I feel that we need to stop punishing people for non-violent drug offenses, either using drugs or selling drugs. That's something that the country needs to stop doing. Because oftentimes, some people in this economy just couldn't find a job. And so, I'm sorry, if you got a family, you know, that you have to take care of, and some of y'all might have kids or something, that sometimes you just have to do what it is you got to do. And, you know, the guys or some people or something, they just get caught up in that system. And that's why a whole lot of people, men in prison, are non-violent offenders. So it's like you could serve your time. I'm just going to, you know, for the sake of argument, you know, use this, that you might have served time for drugs, say for instance. And even once you serve your 5 or 10 years for drugs and you get out, in prison day, you might have taken a couple of courses, and, you know, you might have taken anger management, you might have taken Alcoholics Anonymous, you might have taken different types of drug courses, you might have even gained a diploma and everything in prison, so you can try to do better for you and your family once you get out. But even once you get out, when you get paroled or you completely finish your sentence, I actually believe that after you finish your sentence and after you get paroled, you have already served your obligation and your debt to society. Especially for non-violent drug offenses, that should be completely wiped off of your record. Completely. So you can have a start at a new life. But no, not so with the stupid traditions of man. It's still on your record. So even if you come out of jail with the right mindset, that you have changed your attitude, that you want to be able to get off the drugs and get off the alcohol, and you want to be able to work to take care of you and your family, you can't. Because anytime you fill out a job application, what does it always say on the job application right down at the bottom? Have you ever been convicted or served time for a crime? And if you say no and you wind up getting the job anyway, you know, you will be fired because they're going to accuse you of lying on your application. But yet on the other hand, if you say yes, you won't, they will just, as soon as they look at that, they'll toss your application in the first place, and you could never get a break. Anytime you find men, especially for nonviolent drug offenses, who cannot get a break, cannot find a job, cannot do anything, what are you going to do? You're going to go right back to where it is, or go right back to what it is you know, and that's to sell drugs on the street, until one day you get caught up again and you wind up back in prison. It's like a revolving door. It never stops. And even when police officers pull a person over, they don't even have to know you. They don't know you personally at all. One of the first things they ask you, and I still don't know how come they ask you this, have you ever been arrested before? To me, that doesn't have anything to do with whatever it is that you're pulling me over for now. Whatever it is, just give me my warning, give me my ticket, let me go. It's no need and stuff for us to even talk about what didn't happen before. Because whatever happened before, I'm over it. And most of all, he's over it. God is over it. God said in his word that he forgave me. Who are you as a person, as a police officer, as a judge, or whoever, to come and judge anybody? Because I think that all of us, we all, every single last one of us, has made some kind of a mistake before. Because it's another passage of scripture where it says that all, not some, not only a few, not just, so many, but all, every single body in this whole world, whether you're man, woman, black, white, yellow, polka dot, pink, purple, listen, all have committed sin and fallen short of the glory of God. That means you too, Mr. Police Officer, you are part of that all. You too, Mr. Judge, you are part of that all. We all have made mistakes. We all have done something or done things that we are not proud of. And we all are just humans trying to make it. Who are you to try to hold a person down to keep them from making it? But this is what is happening every single day, because as long as people are police officers and judges, they think that that gives them some kind of a higher level over everybody else because they're a judge and they're a police officer. They're only human beings, but because they got this power and this title that's given to them only by man, it turns them from a human into a superhuman, to where it feels like no matter what it is that they say, they cannot be touched. So in essence, I am saying that police officers and judges and even politicians have too much power within this country, because judges and especially police officers are like God. Matter of fact, they are like God, if you think about it, because they literally hold the power of life and death in their hands. That's how come I have people tell me, Roosevelt, that sometimes if you talk to a police officer in a certain way. If you're nice to him, he'll be nice to you. And basically,